Good morning. Here's your one card pull for the collective. We have the Three of Wands. Now, traditionally, this card can signify travel, but it can also mean adventure. It can also mean expanding your horizons, starting down a new advancement, a new path, a new journey. And we can look a little bit deeper into this card too. Perhaps you're waiting for certain ships to come in. You have to be patient and trusting because you're going to have to find out and figure out, the perfect divine time. And when those ships are ready to come in, you will have to wait for them to come in and see how they fared. See, there's a lot of resources tied up until they return, but when they do return, they will have that perfect bounty for you. So, maybe there's a certain amount of risk that you're taking with whatever you're doing right now, and you've sent those ships out, and you have to be confident because you wouldn't have taken that risk if you didn't think it was worth it. This card can represent someone that needs to take on those great adventures. That is really just a part of who you are. You wouldn't have done this if it wasn't coming from your soul. So you want to take on these adventures. You want to accomplish a noble deed. There's really something big that it's taking you somewhere right now. You're really just feeling that call to travel. You're feeling that call to set out on that big adventure, to start that new project. I feel like if you need to keep in this place of integrity, you need to not let those worries sink in. You need to look out on that beautiful horizon and look at that water that's just flowing. Those ships will flow right up towards you when the time is right. So make sure that you have that clarity in your mind and your heart. Don't start rushing forward. This card does represent Sun in Aries. So, you're feeling that fire underneath you, and that's what kind of, got you out to climb up this mountain, to stand on that cliff, and to just be so excited waiting for those things to come in, that, those projects that you've started, or that job, or, you're planning that trip already. Like maybe you're even starting to pack your bags, but you need to make sure that you have clarity. You need to make sure that that those ships are going to be coming in. You can't be standing there all night. What if it snows? You have things that you need to do. So if you're having difficulty moving forward, maybe you feel like the time isn't right. Maybe you don't have that clarity you need. Make a list. Make a list of the things that you bring to the table. Make a list of your positive traits. Open your heart and see if maybe there's other things that you can connect with, and maybe find different ways to get moving forward, different ways for those ships to come in for you. So use your skills in something different. I feel like, maybe there's some charity work, or there's some community work, or, there's a certain friendship that needs to be nourished. And there's someone you need to talk to. There's someone that's a good listener, someone that you can be honest with, and someone that's going to give you some really good advice that will help you figure out how you can put this plan for travel, expansion, growth, spiritual enlightenment, anything, how you can put that into action. Let's see. There's, this card can also be, the card of an entrepreneur. Maybe there's something that you're really working on, this business that you really want to get going. You really have that fire underneath you and you want to get it started. And there could even potentially be 3 different ways that you can go about doing that. There's, maybe there's something with social media. Maybe there's a mentor that you can talk to. Maybe there is a a completely different path that you haven't even thought of, that you could get this business started right now. This card also is, it's to take on these adventures, there's a certain amount of traveling between the different worlds. So you're still kind of in this present moment waiting for those ships to come in, but you've already started making those plans. You've already started putting those feelers out, getting that expansion going. You know, you're feeling empowered. This card is you feeling empowered, you feeling that fire inside of you. You're strong, you're confident. And, you know, you've got the courage that it takes to do this, to create that magic, to manifest this. You're doing it now. So, you know, you want to keep staying in that beautiful moment and staying in that timing and going with the flow. And even though every fiber of your being is saying that this is a great opportunity, you know, some people around you might not even be convinced about it. So you have to listen to that. And just know that maybe you will need to take this risk, you know, because there's nothing to lose. And this is your magnum opus. This is your moment to shine, your moment in your growth. And maybe you do have to make the move and sort things out later. You know, I feel like there's a certain amount of listening to the divine timing. And maybe it might feel like a risk, but if you're truly tapping into that energy, you're truly tapping into that fiber of your being, your intuition, because I see these beautiful blue waters. If you are really listening to that, I don't think it's going to be a risk. You know, I think it might feel risky to you. It might feel risky to other people, but maybe you do need to move forward because you have that clarity in your heart. You have that clarity in your intuition, you know, so maybe you don't have the business plans, the paperwork, the maybe the passport isn't ready, but you can book the trip and know that everything will work out the way that it should. You know, there's that element to it. And okay, so maybe something happens, you don't go on the trip, you can go somewhere else. You can do something at another time. Like you'll find that this little river here, there's all these little tributaries. And I feel like if you move now, you'll find that you could go 3 different ways. You know, the water could flow out into 3 different little tributaries and you could wind up in this brand new body of water, you know, where it's exciting, it's expansive, it's healing. You know, you're traveling between these worlds. You're dreaming up these projects. You're waiting for the timing to just execute your plan. It's this magical manifesting space. And, you know, you're there now. So take those opportunities, maybe take those risks as long as you're doing it safely, and be open to that possibility of this wand magic. So, you know, tap into that creativity, tap into those ideas, tap into that feeling of expansion, because there's something behind it. There's something that is driving you, and it's a purpose. There's a purpose to this. So go ahead, my friends, go gloriously ahead on your journeys. I was actually just watching a video about someone talking about travel. So it's kind of interesting that this card came up, and I've been thinking about it myself. So do it. Do it, friends. Have a lovely weekend.